Hello everybody. I hope everyone is having a good day today. For most of you out there, I guess most of you on Facebook and YouTube, you may not know my full testimony. Some of you do, some of you don't. But on June 14th of 2012, God came to me in a supernatural way. He revealed himself to me. I was lost. I was a drug addict. I was out of control. In an instant, all of that changed in my life. God's presence, which is love, instantly healed me of drug addiction and all of the negative things in my life that were holding me down, all those chains that were binding me. And up until that moment, I was like most people. I was blind to this world. But in that moment, when Christ opened my eyes, I seen the I don't like to say darkness in this world, but I seen how this world is lost and turned upside down. And in that time, since June 14th of 2012, I have dedicated my life to helping others, to helping children, feed and clothe children. And I've dedicated my life to teaching on YouTube and Facebook and showing that God is much more than religion that we see in these buildings. That God is a life changer, and you get a new heart and a new mind whenever God comes in and takes over your house. It's been almost 8 years since that night of June 14th, and these past 8 years have been amazing. It's been a roller coaster ride, lots of ups and downs, but I wouldn't change anything about it. It's all been a learning experience. Since the very beginning, God has taught me so much through His Spirit in dreams, visions, and He's shown me a lot of things, and I've learned to interpret my dreams, and I don't always look at my dreams as literal. Sometimes I thought dreams that I had were strictly spiritual, and they turned out to be literal. But as I've gone in this process, I've gotten a little better at it. And since the beginning, God was showing me that there is going to be a great shaking in this world, and that shaking, a lot of people will say it's an earthquake and things like that, but it's a shaking of the mind. Whenever Paul and Silas were in prison and there was a great earthquake and their chains were loosed, that word in the Greek means a shaking of the mind. It's not a literal, earthquake. And so God has shown me that there's going to be a great shaking, and that things are going to get a lot worse in this world before they get better. And that's today I want to share with you a vision that I was given back in the 1st of January. And this vision is not to frighten anyone, because I believe God is in control of everything, and the ultimate end game for everything is love. But sometimes in order to get that, we got to go through some big birth pains, and it hurts. Okay? Shortly after New Year's of this year, I was in what you'd call our living room in our house. Our house is very small. It's about 250 square feet. But we were in the little living area, and it was me and my wife, daughters and I, just out of nowhere, I got extremely exhausted. It's almost, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced when your sugar levels get off, but so I couldn't hold my eyes open, and I told my wife, I said, I need to go take a nap. And so I went to the room by myself, and I laid down on my little mat, and I never really went to sleep. And I experienced something that was totally different from many of the other dreams that I've had. This was my first really open vision. I was laying on the mat and I smelt a very funny smell. It wasn't a bad smell and it wasn't a good smell. It was just different. And I could tell that it was man-made. And the moment I smelled this, I began to feel kind of dizzy. And my left shoulder started twitching. And then it moved from there. It's like it was twitching there, and it just started growing. And then the next thing I know, my whole body was shaking. And then it looked around because I had my eyes open and I was looking all around and I could see the whole room shaking. But I couldn't say anything. I wanted to holler for Lynn and ask him, hey, is there an earthquake happening? What's going on? Because we experience a lot of earthquakes here. And whenever the shaking got really, really bad, it felt as though my soul were being pulled from my body. It was really scary. And I remember as fast as it started, it ended like that. And I jumped up and I was looking at what pictures we have hanging on the wall and things, and I was seeing that they were moving, seeing if it was really an earthquake. And I hollered for Lynn and she came in, what, and I said, we just have an earthquake. She's like, no. I was like, okay, this was a vision. I've had lots of dreams, visions in the past, and I've posted most of those on YouTube and some of them here on Facebook. But some time ago, that small voice, God, spoke to me and said to stop and to focus on the love, on sharing His love, and putting people's attention on love instead of fear. He said, there's a purpose, there's a reason that I've shown you these things and you shared them with people, but it wasn't to scare people. And so I knew that God was going to give me understanding later. So that's the reason I haven't shared this vision with you guys yet, until I understood everything, until God gave me that understanding. When He gave me this vision back in early January, it's before I knew anything about the coronavirus. Before I get started, don't think this is a big coronavirus scare, because it's not. I remember a few weeks before I come to know God, I remember struggling or wrestling with God. I just didn't realize that I was wrestling with God. I remember I was so angry. I was really wrestling hard, and I wanted so desperately to save my life. I began to look at my life and all the choices I had made, and I knew that all those choices I had made were wrong. I knew that drugs was not the answer, but it's all I knew. And so I was trying to find ways that I could make it work. I can still have my cake and eat it too. I can still have the drugs and everything be okay. Things won't fall apart around me like they always did. And then finally, I hit rock bottom. And I realized that no matter how many times I calculate it in my head, how many scenarios I try to make it work, it would never work my way. And that's when I totally surrendered, and I found the most amazing new way. I remember back in the day, I used to fantasize about winning the lottery and being a famous race car driver, a movie star, and just having everything that I could possibly want. I wanted mansions, cars, money, women, you name it. I wanted it all. That was the American dream. That was to have it all. And to me, that was life. That was living. I have the most amazing life now, and it is something that I would have never dreamed or wanted before. The life that I have now is is a complete 180 of what I would have thought life was before I knew God. But the life that I have now is the life that God has put out for me. Over the past year or so, I have been working really, really hard with Future Love Ministries, trying to grow this ministry that I have here to feed and clothe children. And I have never worked harder for anything in my life, but I've been experiencing something strangely familiar. No matter how many doors I knock on, no matter how many places I go seeking help to get more funds to make this ministry work, I get rejected. I hear the same story. Just like it was whenever I was looking for drugs, You see, I've been trying to work this ministry my way and not letting God do it His way. God has always provided for this ministry. He has put the right people in my path to give me what I need to do what we do. No more, no less. And since I've come to this understanding and realized this, God has given me clarity on what is going on in this life that I have. And He's also given me clarity on the vision that He had given me. And He has given me clarity on what is going on in the world today. This is going to be the first of a 2-part video. I hope you will come to part 2. Because I believe what God has shown me is very important for all of you out there who may be afraid of what's going on in the world today with all of the coronavirus scare, amongst other things. And I pray that you will come to part 2, because I believe what I've got to say will give you some peace, and you'll realize that God is always in control. I love you all. God bless.